Excuse me. It's about 3 o'clock Monday morning. I'm gonna head in soon. I'm sitting down at one of the taxi lines in Battery Park City, and I'm hoping that someone comes out soon and takes a ride with me, and then pays me at the end of the ride and gives me a tip. But if I wait much longer, it'll be a waste of time, I think. Anyway, I wanted to talk today about what a rotten kid I was. I put some posts up about my army time and Jimi Hendrix and all this. Part of the reason I ended up having to confront the army to begin with was because I had been a rotten kid. You know, like if I had listened to my mother and listened to the teachers, it wouldn't have taken me 10 years to get a Bachelor of Science in hanging out in cafeteria. But it did. And anyway, I guess I want to apologize. I don't remember what set this off in me, but all of a sudden I remembered the second grade, my second grade experience. And in that second grade class, I was like a ringleader of the troublemakers. And we had a teacher, a relatively young woman, I think. I don't remember her that well, but she must have been not that experienced as a teacher. And our class, basically led by yours truly, put her through hell, really gave her the business. I'll give you an example. Back in those days, there was a TV commercial for a candy called Good and Plenty. And it was a cartoon, an animated cartoon of a little boy, as I believe, with a railroad engineer's hat, and he was playing with a toy train with one hand, and in the other hand he had a box of Good and Plenties, and when he shook it like that, I don't know if you can't see me shaking it. Now you do. He's shaking it back and forth, up and down. He's shaking his Good and Plenties. And is going chugga, 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 chugga. You know, the noise of like little gumdrops bouncing up against each other and the inside of the cardboard box that they're in. So the commercial had the little boy who was called Choo Choo Charlie. Good and plenty, good and plenty, good and plenty, good and plenty. Choo choo. That's how I remember it anyway. And so one fine day, I decided, like, not only that I was Choo Choo Charlie, I was going to be Choo Choo Charlie. This is the second grade, but I was going to lead I was going to create a train, not of like a toy train, and not like just the locomotive. No. And I was a leader back then. I don't know, what happened to me as far as that thing went. I never like developed as any kind of leader. But excuse me. My wife had me eat out before I got home today. She said she wasn't going to fix any food for me today, so I ate a McDonald's Angus with mushroom, and I think that may have been a little bit too much. Anyhow, oh yeah, poor Miss Rosenberg. Her name was Miss Rosenberg, and she was my second grade teacher, and I was Choo Choo Charlie. And I had like a large number of kids, like maybe half the class, pull their seats out from under their desks and form a train, with one kid holding on to the back of the other kid's seat and so forth. And me in the back pushing, yelling, all aboard! And going, good and plenty, good and plenty, good and plenty, good and plenty. So, Miss Rosenberg, I'm so sorry. I don't know if you're around, and I don't know if you would ever hear this, and if I ever met you, I wouldn't remember you. And if you saw me, possibly you would never remember me. I mean, I'm 67 and you were an adult and I was in the second grade. So I'm speculating that very likely you're not around. If you are around, you're probably not moving in the same circles as I do. Poor Miss Rosenberg, I'm sorry. I should never have tried to be Choo Choo Charlie, and I should never have formed that train. Next on the agenda is Mister Cannarioto in 7th grade art. Yeah, his name was Cannarioto or Cannarioto, I believe. And back then, as I have talked about before, in the public schools in the poorest neighborhoods, and I grew up in public housing projects, we had an orchestra, and I'm going to apologize to Mr. Gershowitz too. Mr. Cannarioto, you know, looking back at it now, I think he probably was gay, you know, which I wasn't like too tuned into or understanding of in any sense. Mr. Cannarioto taught us to draw pictures with pastels and showed us copies of Picasso and Michelangelo and Gauguin, and taught me to draw a picture in perspective with the lines vanishing to a vanishing point. And that class didn't count as a major, and I don't know if it was pass-fail or whatever. It wasn't an important class. And so a group of us, me being one of the ringleaders, we gave him hell. I don't remember that much the specifics of what I did to him. I just remember that I thought about it later and I felt bad. So Mr. Cannarioto, art teacher in junior high school 204 when I was in the 7th grade, man, I'm sorry, man. I was such a fucking idiot. Mr. Gershowitz, who led the band and the orchestra, same thing. You taught me, what was it? Yeah, it was the violin, man. You taught me the violin. And you taught a bunch of kids from Queensbridge Project, like to play the viola and to play the all kinds of instruments, the cello, a bass, and you know, I was like a lazy little bastard, and I didn't really work hard. Oh, which reminds me of Mr. Brickman in the 6th grade, but that might be a whole other thing. And I didn't practice, and he thought I had a lot of talent, and he thought I was wasting it. And I don't know, he had called my parents in about something, and made some kind of threat that if I didn't do this or if I didn't stop doing that or whatever it was a long time ago, he would put me out of the orchestra. And I said something really terribly cruel to my parents in front of him about Mr. Gershowitz's ragtime band or something like that, and how I didn't care if I was in it or not. And, man, that was, like, really disgusting. I mean, this guy, man, I don't know how far he dragged his ass into this fucked-up neighborhood, which it was, to put up with kids like me, and to get that crap, like, handed to him right in front of his face. I was a rotten kid. So, for all of that, skating by, now I work hard like an animal. Well, it doesn't look like that to you, but tonight there's nothing going on. And I've been doing this and trying that, like I think the Rolling Stones put in their song, or something that sounds a lot like that. And it's going to be time for me to leave. Like, parking by the garage is really messed up till 3. Now it's 3. It should be, like, open and easy to park the car and take care of my business. I don't know if I made any money at all. For myself after the lease and gas, we'll see. And tomorrow I have to go down to motor vehicle because my license, not the license, but the validity of the temporary license, the paper itself, expires on Monday, which is today. And so I gotta go find out, like, why I didn't get that in the mail, which I should have taken care of before. So that's the story of Lazy Rotten Kid.